We're back into the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup for schools, and we have two of the heavyweight rowing schools. Dulwich College on the Berkshire side in the darker colours, blue, black and grey, and St Paul's School, of course, right from the heart of
St Paul's have had a shipwreck
community, and they've had a terrible start.
Terrible start. Not sure what happened there in the St Paul's boat. We saw, I think, stroke and six catching a bit of a crap. St Paul's hotly fancied after their victory at the National Schools Regatta, aside from Henley, the premium race for schools in the summer season. And St Paul's have a young crew. All but one of them are in the lower sixth form, so still have a year to run. They'll be annoyed about that start, but I think with their experience, I'd expect them to get straight back into this race. And already I think you can see them coming out to full length. Looks like they may have had some, looking at the 7 oar, which is closest to here, looks like they may have some problem with the rig there. It looks just like he's going a little bit deep, not sure. They usually row very well. Most experienced man in the boat at 7.
Well, if St Paul's, as indeed might be the case, are considered heavy favourites for this race, and indeed amongst the favourites for the event, then what they've done is created a handicap here with their start. And if they do have a technical issue with that as well, Dulwich have an advantage to cling to in the early part of the race. We're going to have a little look again at that start, if possibly we can, and maybe, Matt, you can establish more clearly what you think has happened here.
So here we go, first stroke, and looks reasonably clean. Bit of a timing issue there in the St Paul's crew. Doesn't look quite right. They're usually very clean and tidy. Something's going on the bow side, the right-hand side oars as well. Couldn't really see what happened there, but as they go through the middle of the course, as expected, I think the experience and the class of the crew here pays off. Coached by Bobby Thatcher, ex-GB international, Donald Leggett, a Cambridge coach, just celebrated 50 years of coaching the boat race every single year for 50 years. So they are a class act. And up against a less experienced Dulwich crew, who've had a bit of a tough season. Some good form in the Dulwich crew as well. Alex McGowan, the boat club captain, is the son of Malcolm McGowan, Great Britain silver medalist back in the Moscow Olympics. But a tough race for them against hot favourites St Paul's, and despite that issue at the start, as we expected, St Paul's are really in control, and frankly they're kind of almost paddling over now, saving their energy for the next day.
Crisis what crisis? And you mentioned in the previous race that the temptation, indeed the merit in thinking about tomorrow. I think St Paul's are entitled to do that now. I guess it's not always a bad thing if you win to have something to improve upon, and no doubt there will be words spoken about the start. Donald Leggett, that legend of the game to whom you refer, and under whom of course you have famously rowed, will no doubt have some advice to pass on.
I suspect Donald would have spotted more quickly what was happening there. I couldn't say my eyes is good enough as Donald's to see that, but it looks like they're all rowing comfortably now and back into that long and rhythmical style that we've come to know from St Paul's. They just sit right back, let the boat run, and then swing over long and clean. And they are a very efficient unit, so I'd expect to see them fix that issue and improve through the week. And well done to Dulwich. A tough opposition, a tough opponent to meet in the first round here at Henley.
Yeah, St Paul's is not the name you want to be pulled out alongside yours in the draw, but that is the unfortunate fate that befell Dulwich College. They go out, and St Paul's School, as expected, progress.